In this short Meta Ads tutorial, I'm going to show you exactly how to create the ideal ad set in order to drive the most amount of conversions for your business, for your client, for fun. If you are just somehow spending money on Meta Ads for some reason, I'm going to make sure that you save a ton of money on common mistakes that happen. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Sunny. I've spent millions on ads to generate millions in revenue. Now I'm helping businesses do the same. And if that sounds interesting to you, you can go down to the description and check out my links. Without further ado, let's get straight into the Meta Ads dashboard. So you can see here, I'm at the ad set level. Whenever you create a new campaign, you'll be brought to this screen. And this is exactly where you're going to do most of your ad set work. If you already have a campaign, you can also go over here from your campaigns and just click into whatever campaign you're doing. This is my test one. And then you can just click edit on whichever ad set you're trying to make the changes on. So the first thing here is we have the name. As I've emphasized in my other videos, you want to be really particular about what you're naming these ad sets, especially if you're planning to scale up your account, because ad sets are going to be where you're doing different tests. When you have something new that you're trying, you don't want to get it mixed up with any of your other ad sets. So you can make this maybe the audience you're going for, the demographic, whether it's a prospecting campaign or a retargeting campaign, whatever you're trying to do, just make sure that name is set and very specific. So now moving on, you can see that it's going to go into the conversion. So this is super important. Depending on what type of conversion that you're going for here, you're going to want to choose that here. And so if you have an app, you're going to want to click the app. If you have a website, which for most people is going to be how it's going, you want to go for website and then go over to performance goal and click maximum number of conversions. And then down here, once you have your pixel, you'll also have an area to choose whatever conversion event that you're going for. So I just created a test pixel to show you what the screen looks like for most of you after you set up your pixel. And I have another video on how to set up your pixel. It's another place that people make a lot of mistakes on, so you want to make sure you get it right. And basically, when you click website here, you'll see the maximum number of conversions again. And for other people, you might want to do landing page views or link clicks. One specific thing that I've used the landing page views on is if your CPM is really high when you're testing new creatives, you actually might want to go over to landing page views and see how much the CPM is. And this is just if you're testing creatives on CTR, which means that only the click-through rate on the ad itself is what you're testing over other ads. Like if you had 10 different creatives you're testing and you want to see which one is the highest CTR, you could try out landing page views and just see the relative improvement between them. And then when they click onto the website, these types of people don't really convert as much. And that's why we want to go over for number of conversions for actual purchase ad sets. And so that's just one thing to keep in mind. For most people, you just want to do maximum number of conversions. And then you'll have the pixel here, whatever pixel that you set up on your website or your business, you want to just make sure that's selected. And for the conversion event, this is super important depending on what event you're going for. And so for most people, it's going to be purchase if they have a product. If you have some sort of lead or some sort of button that people need to fill out in order to schedule an appointment for your business, you're just going to want to select that specific event. And in the description, I'll have all the other tutorials I have for the essentials, probably a playlist for all of them. And so you just want to select that event and then move on. So here we have the cost per result goal. And I see a lot of people when they create a new ad set, they put in a specific number here for the cost per result goal because it makes sense, right? You're like, oh, I want to pay $75 for a purchase. I'm just going to put that in here. But I actually don't recommend doing that at the start of an ad set. You can, of course, do it later, but for people starting from scratch with a brand new ad set, you actually want to keep this blank. And so Meta will spend more at the start. If you put that constraint at the very beginning, Meta will end up like having not much traffic going to your CPA goals. So you just want to keep that blank. And you can just keep this for now. And over here, another important section is your daily budget. And so if you selected the ad set budget at the campaign level, I can just quickly show you here, then you'll be able to select individual budgets. If you click the campaign budget and then you go down here, you'll see that it doesn't let you change the specific thing because you did at the campaign level. And if you watch my last video, you would know that I recommend doing ad set budget unless you have a very specific type of campaign structure. But for most people, this will just give you more control. And you just want to go over here and select your daily budget. For the amount, that'll obviously vary on your budget. You can always just do a few test ones at lower amounts, see what happens. But I would highly recommend going for $100 plus for most campaigns. You can do a schedule, start date. I don't really mess with this much. I usually just have the campaigns either on or off, and then I do the controls. And yeah, again, you can do some more scheduling options. The other really important part of the ad set level is this audience level. So the audience, there's probably 100 videos we can go into on how to optimize this audience. But for now, you could just keep it on Advantage Plus, especially if you're new. Depending on what you want to do. You can also advertise in other countries, and I have another video on this channel for how you can approach advertising globally. I see a lot of people make a ton of mistakes in this area, different client accounts I've seen where they just test to every country and all they have is this broad ad set that they are just all their revenues going from all these different countries, and they have no idea which ones are doing better, which ones are worse, how to actually take them out. So there's a lot of different ways to go here. But for now, whatever customers you think that you're getting, whatever country they're coming from, age they're coming from, I would just keep it pretty vague and keep it here, because Meta will optimize. I know I give a lot of hate on this channel to Meta as an algorithm, and you want to kind of get more control. But if you have Advantage Plus here, it's definitely over time going to optimize towards your ideal customer. Now, there might be a lot of different ways we can tweak that and optimize it, but the general case is Meta wants you to make money, and so it's going to make its algorithm train on the type of person that is interacting with your business, and slowly it'll get to your audience. And so I won't go too deep into here, but some important things here is you can change the country or the location. This can be super specific too to like cities. You can change the age here. You can do a custom audience inclusion, and then you can choose a different languages. But I would recommend also that you switch to further limiting the thing if you want to go more specific to an age range. And this is also where you're going to find all the interest targeting, demographics, behaviors. And so you can literally search up companies. This is something I recommend if you're in the SaaS space doing more SaaS marketing, is you can target different similar bigger companies that people would interact with. You're not going to find most companies here, but you'll find definitely the giants, people like Canva. You can also put in your custom audiences. I have another video on this channel for how you can create custom audiences, what the value of that, the power of it. This is extremely important if you're looking to scale your account, is getting into custom audiences. So yeah, you have the same options here, but I guess gender gets unlocked, languages gets unlocked. This is mostly where I operate in, is this custom setup. I really don't use the recommended setup much. And the final area of the ad set that's extremely important is placements. Most people keep this on everything, but if you see my other videos on this channel about optimizing placements, doing really advanced ad optimizations, there's a lot of stuff in placements that you can get into. And here's where you can select devices, you can do platforms. For some businesses, Facebook will work better, others Instagram will work better. And then you have a ton of control on the very specific feeds. And I have a very specific way that I advertise, and as I scale a company to 100K to 200K, 300K plus a month, you get very particular in how you set up these accounts and how you test and run these things for these different controls. But that's very specific. I don't give general advice on this on these videos, because I don't want you to take my advice, run with it, and be like, Sonny, you were so wrong. Like, it's very different for different businesses. And so if you want me to take a look at your specific business and give you advice based on my millions of dollars of experience, then I can go ahead and do that. But for most of you, if you want to just go ahead and just understand that this exists as a lever for your business, that you can do these, then you can start to test it out, make the mistakes yourself, and learn over time what's best for your business. And so a lot of different controls here that you can go. You can just expand these, and it just kind of goes super specific into the different placements and how you want to customize where your ads are showing. But in general, this is basically everything at the ad set level. I'm going to make another video on the ad level. And so just to give you an example here, I just need to say, like, I made this like like 7 years ago when I was doing hiring ads for a home healthcare company. At that time, I don't think, see, this is what most people do. This is a great example of most people do, is before I spent like tons of money on ads and learned all the mistakes, I would just do maximum number of link clicks, not number of conversions and setting up a pixel. And I just drove a ton of traffic to a link that went over to, this is an employment ad, so this was to get people to get hired. And I did this number of link clicks because like, yeah, I need a ton of people on this site. But then no one actually signed up for the job. And I was like, what the heck is happening? And so you want to make sure you don't mess with these upper level objectives for like traffic. Like you don't want to do number of page views or link clicks unless you're making ads for Nike or some really big company. Yeah, and just going through this, we have different things. So let's just go quickly over the ad level. This is kind of what it can look like. I'm not going to go into the in particulars because there's so much on this level that you can get into, but this is basically it for the ad set level. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want me to look at your company and give you some advice, you can check out my links in the description. If you want to learn how to become a marketing consultant or just learn all of this service delivery at once, just lessons from my millions of dollars spent, you can check out my product in the description as well. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.